this morning, and welcome to a Dirty Ref Has Been Suspended. And you know this guy edition of the OHIO podcast. Go ahead and smash that like button this morning. Love to know what you think. Let's have a conversation about this dirty rat. Yeah, we're talking about Mr. Williamson himself. That's right, Ken Williamson, the head official all those years back in 2019 during the college football playoff semifinal against Clemson. This guy was the SEC ref who was officiating that game when those terrible calls happened. The targeting call, which was controversial, and then the overturn of the turnover, which wasn't controversial. That was a turnover. I will go to my grave saying that was a turnover. That indeed was 100% a catch. It's still a catch today. It was a catch back then. It'll be a catch in the future. But this guy and his staff, they overturned that and thus changed the entire direction for Ohio State in that postseason in 2019. Kept the Buckeyes from an opportunity to play LSU and Joe Burrow in a national championship game because let's face it, they needed to make sure that the SEC had an easier opponent in Clemson than Ohio State. Those are the facts, Jack. 100%. And Clemson fans can argue with me, and the SEC fans can argue with me, and the LSU fans can argue with me, but they're all wrong. They know they're all wrong. That national championship game was a blowout. LSU stomped them, and Ohio State had a much better defense that I think would have given LSU a much greater challenge than that Clemson team could have. And of course, we already saw, we didn't know at the time, but there was some serious cracks in the foundation for Clemson and Dabo Swinney then. They were exposed greatly the following year in 2020 during the COVID year when Ohio State absolutely curb stomped them again in the playoffs. After LSU did in the national championship the year before, and Dabo Swinney and the purple and orange over there in Clemson, South Carolina, have not been the same since. And going into the season, they were going to supposedly get back to a national championship game, but they might not even make a bowl game. Them and Penn State, the biggest letdowns in 2025, hands down, easily. But this guy is a complete rat. Talk about a letdown. This guy, the reason why he is currently suspended in college football and from the SEC. He was the head ref in the Georgia Auburn game. 11 complaints were filed about him and his team in that game. 9 of them were upheld by the SEC. Meaning 11 of the calls that Auburn was complaining about and had issued complaints about, 9 of them the SEC agreed were wrong. The greatest of these was obviously the turnover on the goal line that was upheld and given to Georgia. And the SEC agreed, yes, that ball crossed the goal line. That was a touchdown. And then later in the game, the famous timeout, timeout. I was just clapping. That's how Kirby Smart claps, guys. He's like a seal. Timeout, timeout, timeout. Yeah, these SEC refs were like, "Oh yeah, okay, my bad. We thought you were, was a timeout." No, come on, bro. Give me a break. This is ridiculous. The everybody, even Uncle Lou and all of his bulldog biases can tell you, oh yeah, that we got away with one there. And then Kirby Smart lying about it after the fact. Bro, you ain't fooling nobody. You're not fooling anybody with your little visor wearing toupee head. No one believes you is Kirby Smart. This guy though, he did. He believes you. Yeah, to the tune of 9 bad calls, including that one, man. And he's lost his job. He's permanently suspended from the SEC. So here's the lowdown about this and why we're talking about this morning. Back in 2019, we were all told we're crazy. Ohio State fans are just a bunch of complainers. You guys don't know ball. Of course, this and that and everything. No, Ohio State fans are pretty smart when it comes to football. We interact with each other on social media a lot. We talk to one another. We're raised and born in this thing. We watch probably more football per capita by state, I would say, next to Texas. Maybe Florida, maybe, probably not, in all honesty, now I think about it. I think per capita, Ohio State, the state of Ohio people watch more football than Florida. I'm willing to bet. Maybe Texas is up there with us. Georgia, possibly? But Ohio's definitely top three, if not number one. We watch a lot of ball. We love football. We're football crazy in this state, man. For some people, it's their religion. Hey, that ain't good, but I'm just saying that's what it is. That's the reality in this state, man. Um, you ask anybody from the state of Ohio who's the pro team in Ohio. A lot of us are going to say, "Oh, that's the Ohio State Buckeyes." We ain't saying the Cincinnati Bengals. We're not saying the Cleveland Browns. We're not talking about the Cleveland Indians. Yeah, I still call them the Indians or the Cleveland Cavaliers. What is basketball? We don't even know what that sport is. Who am I missing? Oh yeah, the Cincinnati Reds. I loved the Reds when I was a kid growing up. Loved the Reds. Completely have lost my love for Major League Baseball. I don't even recognize the sport anymore. We're football crazy in the state. We know ball. We talk ball. We love ball. It's what we do here, man. And so during that Clemson game, we knew we were getting hosed, man. We all knew it. We all could tell it. We all could see it. And now, all these years later, 6 years later, this guy who was in charge then is guilty. And he was guilty then. He was dirty then. So here's the lowdown. There's only two paths you can travel down now, guys. And even SEC fans, Georgia fans, Clemson fans, there's only two paths you can travel down now. Number one, he is, and this is the innocent explanation. He's terrible at his job. He's flat out terrible at his job. The second explanation is he's dirty. He's getting paid. People are paying him off. Those are the only two explanations you can give as to why this guy in the stripes had a job. He was that bad, and or he was getting paid under the table. And both aren't good. Simply put, they're not good. And with the surgence of gambling in college sports, one has to wonder if there needs to be a investigation done here on this man and the people working that he was working with. Maybe they should. They probably should. They probably should find out why. Why was he this bad? Is he that dirty? Was he getting payment under the table? And for all of those, and I can hear you now, but Eric, that was the replay officials that were overturning the calls in that playoff game against Clemson. I understand that, but he's got a headset on. He's talking to those guys. You don't think that in those conversations there weren't some things being said? Hey, I'll float you one here if you overturn this. You don't think that could have happened? Or, guys, Ohio State's much better than we thought. We better try to get Clemson in there so LSU can win. You don't think that could have happened? I know for a fact it happened. The best thing that has happened in football officiating, in my opinion, when it comes to replay, is the transparency that is now happening in replay. You're seeing it more and more where conferences are switching to the audio, where you're now hearing the replay official and the head official have a conversation about the play that's being reviewed. All of a sudden now, there's transparency. That wasn't the case back then. You can't prove. There's no one who can prove what those conversations were. We were all asking, we need to hear it. We need to see it. Nothing to this day, still nothing has been released from that SEC crew or from the bowl game officials who hired that crew for the Big Ten and the ACC when they clashed in Ohio State and Clemson to hire an SEC crew and were given this circus act, this bozo, this clown, this ringleader of the circus that was that officiating crew. Nothing's been released yet. We still don't know what that conversation was, nor will we ever, probably. But now we know that the SEC finally is saying with guilty hands, okay, we have to do something now because it was so egregious. It was so bad what happened to Auburn against Georgia that the SEC finally had to come clean when it comes to this guy. Let me know what you think about what I think down in the comment section below about Mr. Ken Williams. Your Bible verse for today comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 21, and is, I think, very in tune with our discussion this morning. Providing for honest things, not only in the sight of the Lord, but also in the sight of men. 2 Corinthians 8:21. Well, I'll tell you this much. That Williamson guy, he ain't honest at all. And if he is, he's just terrible at his job and should have been fired years ago. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Don't forget, Buckeye Ladies tonight, 8 o'clock. TG will be back. We'll see who joins her this evening. Mika's still unable to be with us, I think, at this time. Maybe she'll be back tonight. Cross our fingers. But keep her in your thoughts and prayers, everybody, as she deals with her family issue that's going on. We love her. We appreciate her. And we know you all do as well. Give some love out there for Mika. I'm sure she would love to see all of you sharing your thoughts and well wishes for her and her family, everybody. See y'all tonight, 8 o'clock on the Buckeye Ladies. You all know what to do. Be kind to one another. I, someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Go Bucks.